What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler. Hey, a little bit of a mini story, if you will. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. What are you waiting on? You're kind of tweaking if you haven't subbed. Really, you should be, dude. Come on. Hey, and also, we got that Cold War gameplay in today's video. It's been a long-awaited experience here, all right? Listen, the zombies is gas. All you guys out there who are in the comments are probably going to ask about it. It's fire, dude. Listen, fuck the multiplayer. We don't care about that. It's zombies gaming for tonight's video, ladies and gentlemen, and it's fucking bussin'. So, hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. Listen, man, this has always been a COD channel at heart. I've always commentated over COD gameplay. I'm really hyped that Cold War's out, man. Expect a lot of Cold War gameplay in the future. It's going to be great. And also, another thing I want to mention real quick before we dive into the subject of today's video is that, like I mentioned earlier, this is a bit of a mini story. I wasn't really going to upload this at all, but honestly, I've mentioned in the past that I'm running pretty low on stories that involve my friend Ashton, and I really like to share the memories I had with him. So this is one of those stories where I'm like, fuck it, you know what? Let's throw it up. RIP to homie. Let's get into it. So, this took place over 4 years ago, looking back on it now. Feels crazy to say, about 4.5 years ago now, during my true goon phase of 2016. And during this phase, a very common occurrence would be that I would go link up with Ashton and we'd do either pretty much any drug under the sun. You know, we would consume whatever the fuck we wanted. You know, it depended on the day. And there was one particular day where, so you guys know how most suburbs, they have like the actual suburb parts of it, and then they have their quote unquote downtown, right? Whether that's like 5 buildings close together or the only part of town where the buildings are higher than 2-story, whatever that means, nevertheless, every little suburb has like a downtown section, right? So in our town, we went to our downtown section on this particular day, and Ashton and I were kind of walking around. We were just chilling, and we didn't really know what to do. We went and we grabbed some food. We smacked on some Five Guys, because, I mean, come on, man. Who doesn't like Five Guys? Let's not be stupid here. If you've never had Five Guys, it's great, dude. I could understand not liking it because of the pricing, but if you got some cash to blow, Five Guys is smacking, okay? Let's talk real business here, all right? But either way, so Ashton and I are kind of chilling. We just gotten some food, and we're strolling around the downtown part of our town, which actually was decent, right? There was some stuff around us to do, and all the surrounding suburbs had downtowns, so we'd always go to like different towns and just walk around or like just go get lit. There was always something to do or someone we knew in a different area, right? But on this particular day, we actually didn't know anyone and didn't have shit to do. So we're walking around and we decide, yo, let's go pull up on fucking Barnes & Noble, right? Like this could be lit. So we go into Barnes & Noble, and let me tell you, man, some of y'all be hating. Some of y'all be sleeping on Barnes & Noble. Dude, it's the spot, bro. If you're drugged up, Barnes & Noble's low-key lit. You can go there and chill. It's very quiet. You can focus on your drug experience. It's lit. Like, it's actually great. You can go read a bunch of books. If you're horny, they have Playboy. It's great, dude. Like, you just did a bunch of cocaine, want to bust out a Playboy? No problem, my dude. Everyone's being quiet for you to enjoy yourself, It's fire. So we get in there, and we're chilling, dude. Nice air conditioning. We're chilled out. It feels great. And Barnes, I don't know, dude. Like, I low-key fuck with Barnes. I'm kind of a Barnes & Noble stan, if you will, okay? They got a little vibe going in those functions. I like it, all right? So we're chilling, and we've got a little bit of ketamine on us. And up until this point, we hadn't really done any yet, Like, I know Ashton had done a little bit, and I'd done a bump earlier, but I was dead sober at this point. We had, like, the last time we did K this day was way before we'd even gotten lunch, right? So we're chilling, and we're kind of walking around. And of course, us being young gentlemen, we stumble over to where the Playboys are at, right? And listen, nowadays, they stopped printing Playboys like with naked women in them. At least I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard about this. But back in the day, of course, you could just bust that baby open and, hey, that's a nice rack, So, of course, we're chilling. We go over to that section. We're busting them open. Hey, my dude, this chick's looking great. Check it out. We're having a good time. We put those back, and we're like, yo, dude, like, we should go get lit. Like, we should go get fucked up. And Ashton's like, yeah, 100%. Let's get fucked up, right? So we decide that we're going to chill out. And how this Barnes & Noble's laid out, huge-ass store, right? I feel like every Barnes & Noble is fucking giant. But this one, outside of the bathroom, just so happened to be like a seating area where it was set up with like this little fake fireplace and this coffee table, and it had all these chairs, and it was lit. So we were like, yo, let's just go chill out in this area and we'll just trade off who goes in the bathroom and does drugs. We'll just get lit, right? Bet. Sounds good. Say less. 100% plan locked in. We're getting zooted. So we go sit down at this little chill area. We kind of round up a couple magazines and books to read, and we sit down and we're like, all right, let's get to it, So we're chilling at this Barnes & Noble, and Ashton gets up and goes first. He goes in the bathroom, and while he's in there, I'm chilling. I was probably reading some stupid shit, like fucking, I don't know, Captain Underpants or some shit, dude. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Who knows what the fuck I was reading? But it was something really dumb, because back then, I was borderline illiterate, okay? Like, listen, yeah, I could read, but my drugged up brain could barely focus on like an actual novel. So I don't sit there thinking I was reading some like Stephen King or some shit. No, dude. All right, it was either pictures of honkers or it was some Captain Underpants. All right, even though I might be an adult, very adolescent brain. Okay, either way. So Ashton's in the bathroom, and he eventually comes out, and he's like, yo, it's your turn, my dude. He sits down next to me. He slides me a little bag of K. He's like, just get a bump and come back. I'm like, bet, say less. Thank you, my dude. I appreciate it. So we go into the bathroom, and I take my card out, I go into the bathroom, and I take my card out, and it was one of those one-person bathrooms, right? It's not like anyone else was going to walk in on me. Like, once I went in there, I locked the door, and I'm chilling. I'm safe, right? So I go into this bathroom, and I get my K going, right? I get it cracking, dude. I do my little bump. I'm chilling. And I'm immediately just sent to Narnia. I'm in bliss. I don't know if I did too fat of a bump or what, but I was lagging, dude. I was chilling in there for a bit. I don't know how. It felt like all of eternity. In reality, it was only 5 minutes. But eventually, I kind of realized that I was spending way too long sitting on the stall, and I came back, And obviously, I knew I spent too long in the stall, because as soon as I came back, Ashton was like, yo, you good, bro? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. Just super lit right now. So I'm fucked up. I have that super kind of blissful ketamine, almost tranquility going. You guys who have done K before know what I'm referring to. Those of you guys who maybe haven't seen my ketamine videos before, I guess the best way I can describe the feeling of doing a bump of K is really just almost like this, like feeling a sense of calamity physically, like almost feeling like a physical tranquility, and a mental one, but almost in the sense of like, when like, let's say you have anxiety and you take an anti-anxiety medication, you feel mental relief, right? Like you feel your mental state calm down. You're not as frantic and anxious. The best, this probably makes no sense or a lot of sense to some people, but the best way I can describe it is it feels like that feeling, that mental relief, but physically, like you almost feel it pumping through your veins. It's really crazy, right? It's actually fucking awesome. But the scary thing with K is it's really easy to go overboard and then have a almost bad time where you get K-holed, right? Or it can be a bad time depending on what you think about it. But either way, I'm sitting there and I'm so lit, dude. I'm fucked up. Me and Ashton are just talking about the stupidest shit. I don't really remember, honestly, what exactly we were talking about, because we sat at this, like, little kind of reading area forever, dude. We chilled for a minute, bro. We chilled for a hot fucking minute, dude. So we're chilling out, and we're enjoying ourselves, and eventually, we decide we're gonna go downstairs and probably leave, right? We figured all we did, like, okay, we blew some time, we did a little bit of K, and we kept kind of doing our rounds to the bathroom. Every, like, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, we'd get up and go do a tinier bump, just to kind of keep coasting ourselves along and not really lose that tranquility feeling, But eventually we came to the decision, like, all right, let's, it's time to go. We've looked at every pair of titties in here. There's no more Playboys. We gotta go, my dude. So we pack up our stuff, which was basically nothing, we just kind of closed up the books we were reading and got ready to leave. And on our way out, there's this little cafe, if you guys have ever been to one of these places, they always got the little restaurant in there, and it's never fucking open, but they, like, you could sit in it, and this dude's sitting there, right? There's just one guy sitting in the whole place. He looks like, at the time, he looked like he might be a homeless guy. Turned out he was. We'll talk about that in a bit. But either way, there's this homeless guy sitting in there, and he's the only guy there. And it turns out, for one time, the cafe is actually open, believe it or not. I don't know why. Like, I feel like literally every time I go to Barnes & Noble, it's never open. I don't go very often, but, like, every time I've gone, the shit's never open. But this one time, it was open, right? So, of course, we go over there, and we're like, yo, like, let's grab some drinks or shit, right? So I'm chilling. I just asked for a cup of water because I'm a little thirsty, right? Ashton, on the other hand, he got, like, I think he got a coffee or some shit. I don't know. He got something, right? So he grabs his drink, I grab mine, and we sit back down at these cafe tables and we're chilling, right? We kind of decide to get to kicking it. And there's only like 3 tables in the cafe, right? So there's only a table separating us from this homeless guy. And as we sit down next to this dude, we realize this dude is fucking cracked out, dude. I don't exactly know what drug he was on. Like, I didn't really know what drug he was on. But he was sitting there and he kept kind of like fidgeting and looking at us a little funny. And we're just minding our own business. We're K'd up, so we're not uncomfortable or anything. We're like, whatever, dude. Like, let the dude look at us. Who cares, you know? We're fucking lit right now. We actually couldn't care less, right? And dude gets up, right? Dude gets up and he goes to the bathroom. I don't think much of it. But he comes back and he's fucked up. He comes back and he starts talking to himself, but at like normal talking volume, so we can hear him. And this dude is just fucking crazy, dude. He's talking to himself. He's fidgeting. He keeps like moving the chair next to him. He's like pulling it out as if someone's about to come sit down and then pushing it back in. He was really twacked out, dude. And I don't know. Listen. I don't know what drove him to do this, but Ashton, he gets up from our table and he just goes and sits with the guy. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Ashton, dude, like, is this really what we're doing right now? Or like, are we joining the crackheads at this young of an age, dude? Like, we're not even homeless yet, dude. Like, we don't even have a crack addiction yet. Like, this dude's twacked. Like, come on, bro. We just did a little horse tranquilizer, you know? Like, we still have a couple years to go. Listen, he went and took a seat with this guy, and I was a little hesitant to come join him, I'll be honest. I was sitting there, and I was still feeling great, because we were still doing our rounds to the bathroom doing K, and I was a little hesitant, but he's sitting next to him, and he's, like, talking to this guy, and the guy's actually chatting with him, right? The guy's not, like, completely gone cuckoo. He's actually chatting with Ash. He's still fidgeting and stuff, but he's responding. So I eventually come sit next to him, and I'm like, yo, what's up? And Ashton's just like having a convo with this guy. He's like asking about his life and stuff. He's like, oh, what do you, like, how'd you end up like at Barnes and Noble? You know, like, he's asking all these questions. And the dude ends up telling us these crazy ass stories. I don't really know if they're true or not. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to believe them, but also this dude was so fucked up, right? So he's telling us these stories, and he's like, oh, he was the very typical, like, really fucked up homeless, like, Vietnam veteran who was just crazy. Like, you know, when you think of a homeless person, you know, you think of like a super crackhead, and then when you think of a Vietnam, you think of like war stories, and you think of like the beard, and you think of like an older guy. It was like those two worlds collided. You've got a homeless, cracked out dude who looks like Bill from Left 4 Dead, and it's fucking hilarious. So this dude is sitting there, and he's telling us all these crazy stories, right? He's like, oh, we used to be, man, our dope came from Cambodia back when I was deployed, dude. We were doing all this crazy shit at night, man. We used to see who could do the most. He just, all this crazy shit. He was telling us about how, you know, he used to snort dope and all that shit, and then he moved on. He was speedballing out there, and he was like, oh, you have no idea. The Vietnamese make the best dope. And we're so intrigued by this, because we're crackheads too. And Ashton, he also did heroin, right? You know, unfortunately enough. So he was actually really interested in this conversation. Like, he was having a legit talk with this guy. Like, he was like, oh, like, you know, like, what was it like? You know, like, how'd you get your hands on it over there? Like, did you meet a local, or like, how'd it go? And this guy's telling us all these stories. He's like, oh, we used to go through the villages on patrols, and we meet a lot of the locals, and most of them hated us, but some of them didn't really care as long as we had money, and, you know, they'd sell us dope, and, you know, if they wouldn't, then we'd take it, you know, and all these crazy fucking stories, dude. I'm just like, holy shit. And eventually he gets up and he goes to the bathroom again, and we're sitting there, dude, and we're just like so shell-shocked. And he gets up and goes to the bathroom, and he comes back, and he's once again more visibly fucked up than before, talking faster. Looking back at it, I think he might have been doing, like, I don't know, what do you guys think? I don't think, it definitely wasn't heroin or like an opiate. This guy was getting more amped up every time he came back. Maybe it was like PCP or like crack or something. I don't know. Meth? I don't know, bro. He went to the bathroom, so I don't think he could have been smoking it. Well, he probably didn't give a fuck. I don't know. Drop in the comments, what drug do you guys think this guy was on? I don't really know, honestly, but definitely an upper, for sure. He could have been speedballing. Who fucking knows? Either way. So this guy comes back, and he's telling this story, right? And he's just going crazy. I don't really remember the exact details, but the details of it I do remember in particular are his heroin escapades. He told me a lot about the dope he loved, dude. He told both of us a lot about it, right? And eventually, we decide that we want to do some more K. And Ashton is obviously, he looks over to me and he's like, yo, you want to do some more K? I'm like, bet. And he just pulls it out on the table and just does it right in front of this guy. He pulls it out. And luckily, Ashton was a smart guy, right? He had a little corner of his bag where it was already ground up and ready to go. So you wouldn't have to do any crunching or, smashing up any rocks or crystals on your phone. He would always have a little bit already pre-ground up, ready for us to consume, right? We do our prep work when we go into public, So kind of like, hey, as if we worked in a kitchen, So either way, we pulled out our pre-prepared ketamine, the finest in the land, and he sprinkles it on the edge of his debit card. Not sprinkles it, he picks it up with his debit card. There's a sprinkle of it on the corner of his card is what I meant to say, right? And he picks it up and he just fucking bumps it. And the guy doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't even pause. He doesn't even notice. He just keeps telling the story. And as soon as he does that, I'm like, oh my God, dude, what the fuck have we gotten ourselves into? So Ashton passes the bag over to me. Of course, I dip the card in there. I take a bump. And now we're sitting in a Barnes & Noble at like 4 p.m. in the cafe doing ketamine at the table, dude. Honestly, looking back at it, I don't really know how we didn't go to prison. But in Barnes & Noble, everyone is really distracted and not paying attention. There's no asset protection at Barnes & Noble, okay? The cafe guys don't give a fuck. All right, there's no one else even in the cafe but us at this point. And now that I look back at it, I don't recall seeing any reading area even that close to the cafe. Like the cafe kind of was that reading area, So I guess it was just the perfect storm to sit there and do ketamine in broad daylight, But either way, we're sitting there with our homeless homie who we're gonna call Jim, and Jim was the man, dude. Never saw this guy again, never heard from him again. Ashton didn't serve him anything. He just sat there and just decided, fuck it, dude, we're lit. Let's talk to him. And I was so K'd up, I had a blast, dude. I had such a fun time with our homie Jim, dude. He was telling us the funniest shit, bro. He was like, oh, I would have served in the Korean War if they let me. He loved to talk about war, bro. I don't know what it was. We'd ask him about other things where are you from and stuff. He didn't fucking care, dude. He'd give us a 2-word answer. He'd be like, rah. He'd be like, I don't remember where he was from, but he, for example, he would have said Chicago or some shit. He wouldn't have said oh, I'm from Chicago, or tried to expand the conversation. But if you mentioned anything relating to war, oh, my man's gone, dude. My man's gone. And it was also kind of weird because in between, sentences to us, even while Ashton was talking to him, he'd be mumbling to himself under his breath. He never stopped talking to himself. It was actually kind of sketchy. But either way, after that, man, we were chilling for a little bit. And after we did our K, we got that nice tranquil feeling. And we chilled with Jim Boy for a little bit. And eventually we decided it was probably time to skedaddle. We couldn't really continue consuming the K in broad daylight like that. It was time to go. So we said goodbye to our newfound friend. We didn't dap him up, of course. Hey, listen, man, those fingers they've probably been somewhere, dude. All right, but we're not going to talk about that. Hey, we say goodbye to our newfound homie, Jim, and we dip out the Barnes & Noble, and we go to strolling through the city again. We had a great rest of our day. But, hey, man, hope you guys enjoyed. I said it was a mini story. Here we are 18 minutes later, man. Hey, Crackhead Jim, what a guy. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Peace.